Hi.
Hi,
Hi, Doctor.
hi Shivani, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm great.
Thanks a lot for joining us again today. It's your second live, and
Absolutely, my pleasure.
a quite while back.
Yeah,
Right. So I think we can get started as it's going to be, posted on the page as well. And everyone watching, please do feel free to ask us questions and drop a comment after this live has been posted as well.
yeah,
So again, like was I'm sure everyone knows already, this live is gonna cater to male mental health. More importantly, we're gonna be talking about the male mental health stigma. And Dr. Nukunj here, a psychiatrist based in Mumbai, is gonna be talking about it and providing his insight into the matter. So to begin with, this is quite a new concept. Obviously, concept in the sense that people are only getting to know about it, not that it's not been, in the background happening, right? So I would just like you to introduce us to what male mental health is, and if gender differences even have an effect on the mental health of how men in the later stages do they have mental health problems because of their upbringing or such.
yeah, sure. So, as you very well said it, that it is the new term which people have come across and of lately have been using a lot, which saddens me a lot, to be very honest about. Because distinguishing a body just because of the gender and the mental health because of it is very bad and not ideally correct. So, mental health is something that's related to your brain and the psychology and the body system. So, there is no difference ideally between the males and females. But the major difference and why the term is coming up is that since last couple of years or a decade max, I should say that the mental health awareness is rising. So is that the awareness regarding the mental health for the men is also important, is coming under the terms of notice. The people earlier used to not value it, but now it is when they started considering it, okay, that can also be an important factor. And even men's do have emotions and feelings. So that could hurt, or they can also be worried and anxious or stressed about some things. So that is where I can say that is a major term. But otherwise, if you go about the system, yeah, the presentation would definitely vary because the way the men's face the consequences and the women's face the consequences can vary. But so the presentation and the type of presentation might vary, but the mental health per se, the problems by default in the generic level is completely same.
Right, definitely. So obviously, challenges, as you said, can be the same for everyone, but how they present themselves, so how they look on the outside could be different based on people's gender, right? So then to, I think, get onto that part, what would it look like for males to go through, mental health challenges? Like how can we, address, or how can we just identify these? Or even males themselves, how can they identify such symptoms?
Absolutely. The very first thing which I would like to tell about yours is that start noticing yourself and acknowledging whatever you feel. This is very, I'm getting deviated a bit from the question what you have asked, but it is important for the basis to be formed, I should say that. Since childhood, always the guys are portrayed in the form of to have a strong emotional, physical well-being, and they're always like, you are tough, you can't cry. That image has to be always been given. So they never acknowledge even if the series of emotions they are going through, they always downside themselves and try to shove it up price saying that, okay, no, this is nothing, just a phasic thing, it's not important. So now coming to answering to your question, mainly how they present is, so all the mental illnesses which everybody is commonly aware about, like the depression or the psychosis or the anxiety, are present in men also. But the presentation, as I mentioned, would vary. So, for example, let us take depression. So, women usually give out us the emotional side of that, saying that they're feeling low or they feel like crying or they feel hopeless and helpless, and they are more vocal about their emotional version. In the men, it is usually observed by us in our fraternity and various research papers. Also, it has showed us that it presents in the form of irritability, anger outbursts, or physical or verbal abuses at times. So it's very important to differentiate what person was in nature and something which is happening little different and more. Like on a very small issues, the person is getting triggered off and just giving shouting back, which was not a part of his nature, then that is something which could be a sign of a mental illness or something that awareness has to be brought about. In the same way, when it comes to the first spectrum of anxiety, I would like to tell you that there are more of the physical complaints compared to the palpitation, restlessness, breathlessness, what they experience. See, again, I'll just clarify over here. Those symptoms will also be there. It is not that they do not present that way. This is a more common presentation which I'm marking about. So the physical aches and pains, that is the most common one is the headaches, what we complain about, shoulder pain, lower back pain, or the pain in the lower limbs sometimes, which is more chronically present, could also be a sign of anxiety to you. And the most commonly is the thoughts. As not in the today's society, but in the back, it was known as the men are the breadwinners, and they are the one who has to take care of the entire society, of their house and the family. The thoughts, their constant pressure and the worries which they run into their head is also another major important sign which reflects about the mental health today. So these are some common presentations which we see. And along with that, there's one which is there in presentation or in the illness wise, I will say, is about the substance use, alcohol use or the tobacco or cannabis, any of the other substance uses is very high comparatively in males than female.
Right, we do see a lot of this, men self-medicating with alcohol. Even a lot of studies suggest that, men do this as as an action or a reaction of like something they are going through in life. So, how can consumption of substances, let's say alcohol or anything else, be detrimental to their, health or just mental health, and how can they overcome it?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a very, very well study and which I've gone through. I would say that that's a very common problem, not in just India, but it's all over the world. This is a very common way. And it's since if I go to the Indian heritage or the older times, it's always known that men are seen with a glass of wine, or there's always Madira, as it is always called in our culture. It's always shown off that the men can drink alcohol. But definitely, alcohol does give you a sense of relief at that time. It's like a pseudo relief, is what I want to call. So it is just a pseudo relief because it is just numbing your entire brain and all the sensations at that time. So they feel it is getting better, they are feeling better. So the most common presentation is which would they come and say, sir, it's okay to take some time. It is good for relieving our stress. But they're not realizing that putting even a small drop of alcohol or other substances, how it is impacting their overall body. Because sometimes these people during the stress when they start consuming or during other even just because of the peer pressure, people start consuming these things. They start letting to affect the entire body system. It is just not the brain, but all over the body. And the most common effects of the alcohol and tobacco are very well publicized. I'm pretty sure everybody is aware about the advertisements and what people show over here. But that also shows us that how dangerous it is. And nobody's talking about it effects on the mental health. So what it does is that it is giving you temporary relief. So what happens that you're prolonging your illness. So let me put it across by saying, like, for example, if my vision is low and I'm like, no, it's okay, I can manage and I'm able to see a bit, or I just borrow someone's specs sometimes, or I sit ahead in the row, if I'm a school student, I sit ahead in a row and manage it. So that my muscles will start getting more weak and the numbers or the spectacle power, what will I get, is much higher. Same way over here. With the use of alcohol or other substances, you're treating yourself for a very short period of time. But overall, the illness and the intensity of it increases to 4 times, 5 times, to be honest about it. And that can worsen the cases. And due to this also, we also observe that multiple deaths today are seen much commonly due to alcohol and also due to suicides, which are very much common. Say, if you even go to the research or to see the numbers, it's like more number of women attempt suicide, but comparatively, the higher number of men complete the suicide or die due to out of it. The ratio goes up to like 1 is to 3.5 to 4, which is very bad, to be honest.
It absolutely is. It's quite upsetting to know those figures. Actually, it's quite alarming, I would say, that how men die by suicide, and that's a larger number than their female counterparts. So why do you think this phenomenon exists, and like what are the reasons why do men take that route?
Absolutely. So as I was saying that, see, men do not emote easily. They're taught also not to emote easily, as I mentioned earlier. So, but in today's world, many people and awareness of mental health, people have started talking about. But the most common reason being the social stigma. that how can I share my problem? If I share my problem today, who will support my family? Who will support me? There is no one in the family to look after me, my parents, my wife, or my siblings, or any XYZ person you want to consider. They are all dependent on me. But this is not true. I would like to say it is a self-sheltered stress what we have added to ourselves. One of the most common reasons is that. Second most common reason is that the men's usually take up the more lethal way than compared to women. The access to firearms or the sharp objects is more commonly for the men compared to women, due to which they complete the act than compared to in comparison to women.
Okay, that I think is quite, I think a significant difference that we are seeing. Because yes, it makes so much sense now that I think about it, like men having access to these, firearms and just more aggressive ways of acting out. That's the, path they choose to deal with whatever they are, facing. So how would, one understand that they are going through this? Like, can one, like, as a male, like, is there anything that they should, keep in check? Like initially you had mentioned, we need to keep in check with ourselves, like how we're feeling. So how are there any like pointers that you would share with us,
Yeah,
how
sure.
to our choose?
Absolutely. So, as I always say that this is pertaining specific to male, but it can also be used by others also. So do remember this. So the very first thing is observe yourself. Do you feel different when you are waking up every day in the morning? See, once or twice in a day, once or twice in a week or something, everybody can feel blue. Or there's some stressful event going on in your life, you can feel blue. Or out of no reason also you can feel blue. But if that is pertaining for a prolonged period, even if you have the best of the things in your life as per the goals you wish to achieve, but still there is something which a feeling or a sensation of missing something. That is the first point which you need to observe about. Secondly, as I mentioned earlier, are you getting angry or short tempered more frequently compared to what you were doing earlier? That is another point which is very important. Thirdly, the quality of sleep. That is the very commonly which gets disturbed for everybody whenever it comes to the lines of the mental health illness. So if the quality of the sleep is being disturbed, or you don't feel fresh, or the number of hours which you were able to sleep, or the at the rate, like for example, many people have the habit of going up to bed and sleeping in next 5 to 10 minutes, and some take like 2 to 3 hours. But if you feel that the timing is increased of falling off to sleep, or you're waking up early, or there is intermittent awakening, that could also be a problem for them. Nextly, watch for your appetite. Mainly in appetite, people usually during the mental illness try to go for the sugary food or the carbs related food. All the sweet things, all the desserts. If there's increase from your usual routine intake, that could be a sign for you to again watch. Thirdly, about it, substance as we mentioned. Those who people are used to taking socially consuming alcohol, tobacco, hookahs, any of the substance, the frequency or the intensity of it is increasing, then definitely that has to be alarming and that has to be looked upon to. And lastly, I would like to mention one more very commonly, excessive sweating is present, or you're just preoccupied with thoughts and the aches and pains are multiplied to a lot. And it is not explained by any of your physical activities, what you usually do. Then that is again something to be looked upon. These are some common pointers which would male present with and which should always be looked upon to.
Thank you for sharing that. I think definitely viewers, especially our male viewers, should like just keep those things in mind, and make sure that in case they are feeling this, they should definitely go ahead and take the step to just speak with a professional. So that was, trying to keep in check with our own selves. So how would a friend or someone else, identify this in their, let's say, we all know someone, a father, brother, or friend, husband, a male people in our circle. How do we identify in them, and how do we approach this very sensitive topic with them?
Absolutely. So these topics which I just mentioned about the list of certain symptoms which can be commonly seen are some trigger points which can be observed best by the people living with them. As you mentioned, any of the siblings or the partners or parents. See, for male mental health, still there is a lot of stigma. That is why the term is just coming up. So these are the support systems of their family are the best people who can help them about it. You know, and anytime if you ever approach, how much ever the person is open-minded or is open to it, till today, being in this profession, I can vouch for it. Many of my colleagues are also having a stigma about it. They're not easy for them also to accept, okay, I can go through depression. I can have anxiety. It's like something which, oh God, this is not possible. So such times it is very important that you keep a close watch on their behaviors and always try to communicate to them about it. And if not, if the person who's suffering through this is not able to communicate, or whenever you try to approach to this topic, they end up getting angry on you, or there are fights which is very common presentation. That observant can go to a mental health professional and speak to them about it. At least they will be able to customize the problems, customize the solution for them, how to approach or what things can be done for them, which will make their lives little easier and which will help them to open up about it. Okay. And the next most common way in which even they can observe is take help of social media, like the live what we are having today. Today, the social media is one of the most important place where everybody is on it. I can vouch for it. Even if the person sitting in the remotest village today is accessible to Instagram or Twitter, LinkedIn, anywhere. So try to start following such more posts or the pages where you feel that the research and the posts which are more legitimized and they're well researched. So that can also help them and support them to figure out how to work on this thing.
Right. Thanks a lot. Thanks for bringing this up because social media has been at the helm of, the support that it looks like, especially for mental health, in maybe working towards popularizing this notion and making it a bit more acceptable with everyone. It's played a big role. But I think since we're talking about this, right, there's so much information on social media right now. And male mental health is a topic, like you said, even some of your colleagues are apprehensive about the whole aspect of it. So how does one know what information to pick and choose? How would one know that whatever they're reading, right? Because there's so much misinformation out there, and especially this being a very new, topic that people are just starting to understand. How would they know that the person speaking about this kind of support is, legitimate, or how to differentiate, some fake information from the correct one?
Absolutely. This is a very valid question. I would say that it's important for people to know about it. So the very first thing I would like to tell everyone is just check the credentials of the account or the person who's speaking about it. For example, there are many people today who proclaim themselves to be the speakers, wellness gurus, or someone whose lifestyle changes, or speak about the mental health in them, because mental health plays a major role in it. Check for their credentials, because are they aware about the topic? Like, are they educated about it? Or they've just read it and picked it up from some other post and just giving it out. So, like for example, along with right now, I'm running a page and I have a degree of MD psychiatry. So you can hope that I will have some knowledge about speaking about it, and you can think about trusting me. I would not say that even trust every doctor today easily. Check for it, but yeah, at least there is a hope that this person will know because of the qualification what they have put across over there. At the same, another very easy way to check is whatever information you all want to get, check on the WHO websites, check on our Ministry of Health and Welfare websites, CDC websites. These are the major ones which are internationally known. And thanks to COVID today, everybody knows these names at least. I'm pretty sure they don't know what in detail they do, but they know that WHO has proclaimed this. Ministry of Welfare and Health has proclaimed this. So try to check from those official websites instead of just randomly believing any information here. Because everywhere today, even Government of India is taking a lot of efforts to promote mental health about it. So it is very important that you check those informations and then speak to someone a professional about it.
Yeah, definitely. I think, yes, definitely WHO has become this one organization that now everyone is aware of, thanks to, COVID, obviously. But I mean, with the, negatives, there is always a positive. So I guess
Absolutely.
this is something we can take away from that. So like talking about support in India, Like, would you, shed some light on how a person is supposed to know the correct sort of credentials to look for? So, for example, sometimes people are apprehensive to go to doctors, right? Because they say that I don't have a medical condition, so why should I go to a doctor? They may not know that there's, other kind of support that that doctor is able to provide to them other than just medical, support. So, how would you, ask that person to look for, like what kind of credentials to look for, and how is it, you know, different from having a
Yeah,
medical problem?
absolutely. So first of all, mental illness is a medical problem, which is another acceptance people need to work towards. So, but yeah, as you rightly said, that they believe that I just feel little angry or I'm just having sleep disturbances. It's not a major mental health issue or not an issue for myself. But yeah, today there are multiple online platforms which are available for teleconsultation. Again, another positive side of COVID that the government has sanctioned these things through which the people can communicate through sitting at their own home. Government itself have started up Ayushman Bharat. If you just go to their website, Ayushman Bharat is the program in which the government is working for the teleconsultation. And at the same time, National Institute of Mental Health and Sciences, that is NIMHANS, which is based on Bangalore. It is one of the Asia's biggest mental health institute. Which is the pioneer for many telecommunication and tele mental health things over here in India. They have started a helpline number also for it, which you can just call up and just discuss whatever issues you all have. They will triage you. They will refer that whether you need a psychiatric help or do you need a psychologist or is everything all right, and they'll just communicate with you at that time. Along with that, this is a government helpline which they have started. Along with that, for suicide or anxiety, there are various NGOs which run and which are helping you all around it. So even if you all don't wish to step out, try to use this telemental health and get help for yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for sharing those pieces of information, because like a lot of clients, like we see that they are taking the support, without having any other support in their own like personal circle, right? And that's such a brave step to take, like just to go and take that support. Some people may be aware of what that support looks like. Some people may be completely unaware, and they just know that they maybe need help, right? Because obviously there's enough information, like we have discussed on social media, to understand whether that's a problem for you or not, right? Whatever you're dealing with. So how, is someone who's new to this supposed to, what are they supposed to expect in terms of the support structure? Like if they reach out, what would it look like for them?
Okay, sure. So, see, first of all, I know it is difficult when we say we have to talk about a mental health issue. Like recently, I just came across an article in which like it was claimed that the Shah Rukh Khan had also undergone a phase of depression in 2010, if I'm not wrong, after a shoulder injury. And he himself also commented on this, saying that I'm a very shy and a private person. And when it comes to mental health, you're supposed to be like an open book. You need to share out everything and what is possible. So first of all, I would like to say that, quoting this, I would like to say that over there in the support form, first of all, you'll see a safe environment. It's a safe space. And the confidentiality is the primary thing which will be maintained, which is one of the major concerns for everybody when it comes to mental health. Everybody wants to keep it hush, as if it's the biggest crime, but it's okay. At least if you're seeking a support, that is one thing which you all will be given confidentiality and the safe space. Whatever you all share over there would be kept confidential. Next, over there, what is another way that things that they can help you with is also explain you about the need of any medications or any focused therapies required. So there is a guidance to provided to them. And if not that, there's a simple venting out. We always go and cry out sometimes to our friends, family members, or to our partners at times. But it is difficult for many men in today's world, I've noticed, that they cannot come and share. They feel everything is fine and it's just kept inside. So this is the place where again you can just come and speak things. There will be someone who can listen to you and not give you any information or like give you any answers back or judge you over there. There's no judgment provided. So that's how these are the basic things which will always be provided you at a mental health setup.
Definitely. I think, one thing that keeps coming to the fore, like keeps getting highlighted, it is that, it's you, like it's the person, individual themselves who will have to take that step eventually, right? Because I mean, there's already a lot of stigma, attached to mental health anyway. And then with, male mental health, it's another whole, string of challenges that men have to face, right? And again, with the whole cultural setup of things. So I think it's talking about it can be difficult, but thinking about it as, something they need to overcome, something they need support for, something they need to recover from, could maybe, make it easier for them, and then they can go ahead, take that step for their own mental health as well, and live a quality life, which, a high
Absolutely.
function life. Yeah.
Absolutely. As you said, that the first step always has to be from the person, because this is something which cannot be expressed or explained by any of your family members or friends, because it is something completely running in your head and your thought process. So there's no science developed yet to read those minds. The
Yeah.
day that is developed, half of the world's problem would be solved. So definitely, absolutely. So the first step has to be from your side, and just try to make a step. I would always encourage my friends, even my people, just try to talk whatever you feel comfortable about it. Not necessary to just help you to solve a problem, but sometimes just talking about it would make you a bit relieved.
Yeah, correct. I think I do definitely agree with that. And I hope our viewers watching are able to, just exercise this in real life. If there's any challenges they're going through, or you're able to, maybe approach someone who's going through this. So, Dr. Nikunj, is there anything else you would like to, let us know about this particular topic we're talking about? Because I think that's all the questions that I had from my end. So, if
Sure.
anything you'd like to ask.
Yeah, there's just one thing which I would like to end. As it's 30th of December, the year is about to end. I'm pretty sure everybody's going to have the big major party plans or be with the people around. So in this, I just want to remind everyone again that there would be also a part of people who would be running away from it. People who would not be males specifically, who would try to portray from outside they are completely all right. And as I mentioned, the consumption of alcohol and other substance would be increasing. So try to have a watch over it. Try to look out for them. Don't need to point fingers toward that you have a mental health issue and go seek a doctor, but just try to be supportive to them and be through this phase with them. That's it I want to mention.
Yeah, I think that's very good advice. I think definitely it's not always about pointing out, but just being there for the person, lend a listening ear, or just being able to provide them with a safe space, professional or not. But obviously, in case something quite challenging, I think it's definitely advisable, that the individuals go seek mental health support from professionals. As in this video, we have been able to, discuss a few aspects of it. So I think right now I would like to invite questions, Dr. Nikunj, from the audience, anyone watching, and you have any questions about our topic, which is male mental health and the stigma attached to that. So anyone who would like to, ask us questions, maybe we can give it a minute,
Sure.
Dr. Nikunj. You can just wait for that. And in the meantime, I'll just check if there were any questions for us.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Viewers watching, please also feel free to drop comments to ask us anything about this related topic, even later on, once this reel has been posted, and we'll make sure that it's communicated to Dr. Nikunj, and then we'll be able to give an answer to that.
Absolutely.
Right. So we see, one question, I think, from one of our viewers, and they've asked us, how do you define a prolonged period of sleep? So I'm not sure what they mean by this, but maybe
Same.
they mean like what is a good sleep? I think if we can define that for the viewers, like what does it mean to have a good prolonged sleep? Maybe.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So I would like to tell you all that there's always another stigma or another myth probably goes on that 6 to 8 hours of sleep is the perfect sleep what people should have, or like some people are like no 8 to 10 hours of sleep as your adult, younger age group 8 to 10 as your adulting 6 to 8 is enough, but that is not true. I would like to tell you all that the amount of sleep which makes you fresh in the morning and you're able to carry out your daily activity is the ideal amount of sleep. So some people who, it's a natural body sleep cycle which is always present in every person. So there are hormones which are regulated. So whenever, if you're sleeping for 4 hours a day and it is sufficient for you to work actively throughout the day and not impacting your mental or physical health, it's more than enough. And same way if you're sleeping for 10 to 12 hours, if your schedules permit that every day, you all can definitely continue with that, and that's not wrong. It's a shout out to all the parents, all the youngsters and everyone. It's okay. Just figure out what is that makes you feel fresh and happy to carry out routine. That's what is an ideal sleep according to me and the books.
That's great to know. I mean, that's such like news to me as well, because I was just, always in this. I mean, we all were taught that, okay, it's only these many hours you're supposed to sleep. If you're sleeping more than that or less than that, it's so, harmful for you. I think this would change, I think, quite a lot of, perspectives, I'm pretty sure. And thanks for providing this information to us. So I think that should be it for now, because that's all the questions that I saw. Anyone else, if you'd like to ask us anything about this topic, we will definitely be posting this, and you can drop comments and let us know what you thought about this video, and if there's anything else you'd like us to discuss maybe in the future, and maybe we can invite Dr. Kunj back as well.
Absolutely.
Right. So thank you,
Sure.
Dr. Nikunj, for joining.
Thank you, Shivani, for having me again. Nice meeting you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye bye.